Welcome to Groundbreakers Podcast. I am your host, Nick Stilo, and my co-host, Joe Villar.
Welcome back, everyone.
And today we are clearing the air on developers.
What does that mean? What exactly does it mean, clearing the air? Clearing the air of what, Nick?
Of how we are perceived and what we do and why we are so wrongfully.
So let me paint the picture here. So you are both driving Ferraris.
Yeah, okay.
Let me paint the picture. This is the picture.
Yeah, paint the picture.
As a builder, you're both driving Ferraris. You're going to fine dining restaurants every night. You have excess amount of money, unlimited buckets of money, and you have this power to you that you can put everyone into their place because you are a builder. This is what's happening. Is this true?
You missed one thing.
What's that?
That we have the government at our fingertips.
Yeah, and you have the government
in your pocket.
Now, how much of what I said is true?
None of it. Maybe so. Okay, maybe. Let me be clear. Maybe some of it.
Clear the air.
After a long career, I believe that developers will drive a Ferrari or whatever, automobile they want to drive, and that's their business because they've had a long enough career and they've built up enough cash and they've worked hard enough that they can award themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anybody can do it. An accountant can do it. A lawyer can do it. And for crying out loud, I know guys that change mufflers to drive really nice cars.
Correct, but that's not what's being said currently as of today for all builders, including yourself and Joe. You currently, right now, the assumption is you both drive Ferraris. You both have an excess amount of money, unlimited. Government is right here. You guys call the interest rates. You guys call the shots. And you have all of this power over everyone. And you are the problem why the economy isn't growing because you're the ones who stopped building.
False.
Let's clear the air. Why is this perception out there?
So first off, I don't drive a Ferrari. I drive a 13-year-old car. Mm-hmm. That has 200,000 kilometers, and I'd really like to drive it for another couple of years because I don't want to buy another car and I really still like it. I don't have unlimited access to funds. Oftentimes, we are borrowing multiple times a year on different properties and leveraging properties that we own in order to invest in or to, when there's a cash call for a project. And for those of you that don't know what a cash call is if you've identified a cost overrun rather, or a change in a schedule, which is going to negatively impact your interest payments at the end of the project, then the lender wants you as a developer to put more cash into the deal. And cash calls aren't, something that are just, a few $100. They're, oftentimes a few $100,000, and you find yourself in the middle of a project having to do that several times. So no, we don't have unlimited funds. We borrow a lot of money. We manage debt really well. And frankly, the whole idea that we have power over people, we could talk negatively to anybody. I dare you to go to my construction site and walk with me and see how many guys' names I know and how many details about these men I know that are working on my site. I've texted. Is that a word? Texted? I've sent a text.
Yes, you've texted.
I've sent a text to, I can actually think of 2 trades that didn't know that I knew their wife was having a baby one weekend. This happened twice. And I text them to find out if their wife had the baby. One of them had, and one of them was actually just on their way to the hospital. So to give you this idea where we can talk negatively to anybody, that's totally, totally false. If I felt that I was superior to anybody, I would not text a laborer who sweeps the floors if his wife had a baby.
Of course. So
why would I waste my time?
But let me paint the picture here. So I'm the angry society, and you're the builders. So I'm going to give you kind of like the feedback, right? Joe, why are you stopping building from happening? Now there's a shortage in housing.
I'm not stopping building. There's a shortage of housing because of the fact that we've got X amount of immigrants coming in to our country every year, and we cannot keep up with that demand. That's part of it.
I thought you were choosing not to build, to maybe bottleneck us. Is that true?
Why would I choose not to continue my business? It's a business at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. It's a business that I put food on the table for my family on. Why would I stop doing that?
Okay.
That makes no sense.
Nick, why are you getting a better interest rate from the government?
We're not.
You are. I see it everywhere, all over social media. The builders are getting a better interest rate.
No, the builders are getting terms.
So let's clear the air on that. What do you mean?
Well, like any mortgage, it comes with its terms. It comes with its amortization. It comes with its interest rate, and it comes with equity requirement in the deal or loan to value. We're getting terms to build what we build. Certain government programs like the ACLP, the Apartment Construction Loan Program. It used to be RCFI. I'm still not used to this new name. RCFI was Rental Construction Financing Initiative. Offers terms. So in particular, the ACLP offers up to 50 years of amortization as opposed to 30 years of amortization. It offers lower interest rates, typically prime plus just a few basis points. But we're still paying prime. And it offers high loan to values because that is the government's way of incentivizing developers to build more rentals, more affordable rentals. Those are just terms. There's nothing favorable about it. We're still paying that mortgage off, and we're still front loading the project millions of dollars well before we ever get a loan.
Let's clear the air a little bit more. Joe, why is it that when a builder decides to do something, okay, everyone else feels like they have the first say at things? Why is it that society feels that builders always have the last say, the first say, every say before anyone else does? Is that true?
That is not true. I think the perception is because we are building homes where people actually live in, and this is something that's so important in everyone's lives, is to have a home, a place to live in. That's why it gets so much attention.
Because now it's almost like you're stopping them from having their dream.
That's right.
Okay. Nick, why is it that, let's clear the air one more time. Why is it that everyone thinks that you have an unlimited amount of money? How come they feel like builders have this crazy wealth? Like you're sitting on like Scrooge McDuck, for God's sakes.
I think they see
big mountain of gold.
I think they see sometimes the glory and not the story. So they might see a developer at a really fancy restaurant, and the developer might be driving a fancy car, but they don't see the 20 years of hard work that it took for that developer to get there. There's a saying, you become an overnight success after 15 years of hard work. And that's just because people don't see that first 15 years. They just one day recognize One Urban and say, oh, wow, One Urban's building thousands of units. Yeah, but that's because we started with 71.
But they forget that because they think it's your first day on the job.
Or they just don't know it. They don't know the history.
I think people don't care to know. Because people are just going to assume, well, look at this guy. Look at these builders. All of a sudden, you can go to these fancy restaurants and I can't even afford a place. So now all of a sudden, their misfortunes now become your problem. And I think that's where builders now are having to always defend themselves. Don't you think? Because people are going to blame society, the construction, the fabric of society, based on the fact that you guys are limiting people's ability to live comfortably. That's a builder right there. People don't blame real estate agents. They don't blame mortgage brokers. They blame builders. Why? Why are they coming to you like as if you're telling them no?
I think that the average person that isn't in the development industry thinks that developers are purposely holding off from building anything because we want to make more money. The reality is, if a developer is holding off a project, is because the project isn't feasible. It's not a moneymaker, therefore it's not financeable. A bank won't come behind it and give you the financing to build it. So you hold off for a bit, and if the market changes and it becomes a little bit more profitable, then it will meet that minimum threshold from the lender, and then it could be financed, and then it could be built. There's a lot of developers right now that are sitting on the sidelines just waiting because the numbers don't make sense. First off, nobody's going to pay for $1,500, $1,600, $2,000 a square foot anymore. Mm-hmm. And these guys might have bought their land thinking they can sell that for $1,500 a foot, and now that doesn't make sense anymore.
I think you can still buy that. Still in parts of Toronto. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's still condos that are that much a square foot.
Yes.
Right?
I think the average selling condo right now is about 1,300. There are still projects out
astronomical.
there, which is still high, but there are still projects out there that are selling in and around that $1,300 a square foot, and they're profitable and they're doing well.
So now let's clear the air on another thing. Here's the other big thing. Now people are looking outside of Ontario, and they're saying, "Well, wait a second. I can buy a property in Alberta for $500,000. Why the hell am I paying $1 million here?" I guess these builders are greedy and they want to make more money. Is that what's happening, Joe?
Absolutely not.
Explain to me why. Clear the air.
Listen, I'm not too familiar with what's going on in Alberta, but I can tell you in Ontario, it's a competitive market. It's a competitive market. If a developer can charge less and still make money and sell their units, they're going to do that. They're going to do that. So, it's a free market.
Well, you see those developers now that are offering $100,000 at closing?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
There's some developers that are offering incentives of $100,000 at closing.
How?
I have no idea how they're able to do that. Maybe they were overpriced to begin with and they knew it.
And this is in Ontario?
This is in Toronto.
Holy, this is groundbreaking stuff.
There was actually a project, I don't know where this was. I believe it was Toronto that was offering the keys to a Porsche.
Yeah.
And there's different trim levels and models of Porsche that they were offering. I think the top end was the electric Porsche, which is, I don't even know how much it is, $200,000 if you bought a condo.
Is this facts? Are you sure?
Yeah. I'll look it up.
Fact check it.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
You're going to look it up live? Okay, good. So what did they overprice it to begin? See, this is it's like he said, she said.
Yeah.
We can't really say why this incentive was in place. Maybe it's always been in place. Maybe they have a deal with Porsche.
Yeah.
So what's the pull for that? I don't get it.
Well, I don't know what the exact circumstance of this particular developer is, but let's say they've sold X amount of units.
Sure.
And they have still X amount of units left to sell. Remember, they've got debt on this thing
Yeah, of course.
that they still have to keep paying interest on every month.
Definitely.
So the longer that these units remain unsold,
Sure.
the more interest dollars that this developer is going to have to pay.
So they're trying to liquidate it
so
out.
by providing these incentives now gives incentives for people to actually purchase the unit, so they have to pay. So they pay less interest dollars at the end of the day.
So
okay. Okay, go ahead. And now I'm gonna say something.
So the developer at 38 Widmer Street in downtown Toronto is offering the Porsche incentive until August. In fact, this 52-story condo building dubbed Central is offering 100% electric vehicle parking. And it appears that, if you buy a penthouse, they were giving you an all-electric Porsche Taycan.
What's the price of their penthouse? It must be in the millions.
It would have to be. The prices range from $756,300 to $1.376 million.
So hold on a second.
So you buy almost $1.4 million condo, they'll give you a $200,000 Porsche.
So now
why not just lower the price of the condo?
Yeah. So now let's get back to.
It's not like Porsche is giving the developer any incentives.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe they are.
No, they're not.
You don't think they are?
No, they're not. Porsche is a bit like Rolex right now. It's a
high-end commodity.
It's such a high-end brand. It's
they
it's
don't
a
want to
status
cheap
symbol.
themselves up.
They're not cheapening themselves out. They'll make you go on a wait list. They'll sell you a couple of SUVs and a couple of the small sports cars before they sell you a 911.
So now we got to clear the air. So you brought up something just perfect, and I'll tell you why. So these damn builders make so much money.
He just called us a damn builder.
No,
damn builders.
Hold on a second. Because if I have to be a keyboard warrior right now, this is the mindset. These damn builders all of a sudden can offer a Porsche. So how much money are they really making on these places? Here's the problem.
That just exacerbates the notion that we're greedy and that we're rolling in cash.
Here's the problem, though. It takes one builder to do something like this to completely tarnish everyone else. Because for you already told me your margins are what, 13% on a good day or something
on
like
a very good one, it's typically around 8%.
So then how are these builders allowed or able to offer such a lucrative incentive when their margins are tiny, tiny, tiny?
Maybe they were overpriced to begin with. So instead of lowering their price, they're offering you a $200,000 Porsche when in reality they should take $200,000 off the unit. Problem is that if somebody bought that $1.4 million unit with no discount just 5 months ago, they're going to go back to the developer and say, hey, Now you took $200,000 off the unit. I want $200,000 off my unit. But you can offer a Porsche because a Porsche is an incentive. It could be seen as, it says it right here in this article that it's only offered until August.
Oh, so it's like an upgraded
So it was like
kind of thing.
It was like an incentive of the month. Buy a condo for $1.4 million, we'll give you a $200,000 Porsche. So now the guy that paid $1.4 million for the same condo 5 months ago, he can't complain.
Sure, you can.
Because no, he can't. It was like a promotion. The promotion wasn't offered back then, but it is now. But if that developer now drops the price $200,000, now the guy that bought 5 months ago can say, "Whoa, I want $200,000 off my unit. Why didn't you take it off yours?"
So now my question is this: clear the air. If this builder can do that, why can't you guys?
Offer incentives?
Massive incentives like that.
Well, because we're not building condos.
We're not building luxury condos.
So okay. The problem is, even if you guys are not building luxury condos, you're still a builder. And according to keyboard warriors, a builder is a builder. Now, could you clear the air? Is a builder a builder?
Yeah.
Are all builders the same? No, of course not.
Well, fundamentally, all builders build. We break ground.
But some builders build industrial buildings. Some build condos. Some build, houses. Not all builders are the same. But how come they pull?
No,
you
their
with
product
everyone
product
else?
might be different, but they're still builders.
Incentives is a big deal because nowadays everybody wants that incentive. Like some builders, if you buy a new home, they'll offer an upgraded kitchen, hardwood flooring, all that good stuff. All that good stuff. But we get down to it again. Why don't builders take the top end price off instead of offering these incentives? Because it's cheaper to do those little mini upgrades opposed to saying, I'll give you $100,000 off.
In the case of upgrades, yes, traditionally upgrades have been a little bit of a moneymaker for developers. Everybody knows that an upgraded kitchen doesn't cost $50,000 for the builder. It probably costs the builders $25,000 because they've already got $20,000 into that kitchen to begin with. So, it doesn't cost that much more to upgrade the material when they're already buying a basic kitchen. But when you're buying a high-end kitchen from scratch, is it a $100,000 kitchen?
No, definitely not. So, but that's a different animal on its own. The problem is that nowadays, with all the interest rate hikes and it's impossible to afford a house and all that, they look at these builders and say, here's another one. Let's clear the air. They're saying that builders are now price gouging and implementing higher than normal prices because of the circumstances of the economy. Is this true?
It affects our ability to build. If the economy, if gas prices go up, if material prices go up, if availability...
Development charges keep going
Development
up.
charges go up. We have to pass those on. Those are
So what do you
costs
say to
that we
these
have
people?
to pass on.
What
Exactly.
do you say to these people that they look at you and say, why are you increasing the house when you shouldn't?
Because we have to. We have no choice.
Right.
Or it won't be profitable anymore. And if it's not profitable, we can't get financing. And if we can't get financing, then it won't get built, and then you won't get a house.
It's an ongoing struggle. That's the problem. And I don't think you'll ever be free and clear where people fully understand what a builder's point is.
Right.
Because they see the luxurious lifestyle that you live. Now, the problem
Perceived.
Perceived. Like, so you're dumping $50 million, $100 million into a complex, okay? But it's not like it was your money to begin with. It's not like you just said, hey, let me go to the bank and get $100 million of my own money. Most of the time you have to borrow. 90% of the time.
99% of the time you're borrowing.
Well, there are those few. I know
Very
a couple
few.
that-
Very
that-
few
that
and far in
have some
between.
pretty
But
deep
typically
pockets.
that's what they do.
Pretty deep pockets, but how long have they had to work for these deep pockets?
Condrain's been around since the mid-50s.
Thank you. So it's 70 years of work.
Generational
Of
building.
course. So it's not, and their first generation that started Condrain, they came off a boat from Italy. I'm sure of
Yes.
it. So they had $0. I think the keyboard warriors right now are looking at what builders were, how they are now, and then the younger generation builders such as yourselves
Right.
are flaunting. But you're not flaunting anything because they assume that you have all these millions.